Howdy everybody, and welcome to Random Rhapsody's Æther-Shanties. I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master for the SAGAS campaign, and joining me around my virtual table tonight are Alyssa, Joe, KOINES, Nico, and Nobody. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
So good. Now, before we begin, we do have some announcements to get through, starting first with a word from our sponsor, SAGAS. SAGAS stands for Setting and Genre Agnostic System, and was created by TTRPGs. SAGAS is a rules-light TTRPG designed to help you easily tell your stories in any world imaginable. When building your character, you can choose from up to 100 unique features, or you can even create your own abilities using a very simple guideline. SAGAS promotes helping allies over helping yourself, and encourages teamwork to succeed in challenges. In any setting you come up with, SAGAS provides a smooth integration of rules to create a unique framework to help you create your adventures. The game uses a check-based roll-under-resolution system, which is very unique from most other TTRPG systems. Now, there is a free 35-page SAGAS playtest, which is available now on DriveThruRPG. And the Kickstarter has been funded, so the actual copies will be coming out here very soon. Now, you can find a link to that in our chat and show description. Now, the next two days that we have sessions, we're actually going to be off. This upcoming Monday and then the following Wednesday. The next Wednesday and following Monday. I got that backwards. We are going to be off. I'm going to be out of town, so things are going to be a little weird for our schedule. I'll probably throw up a rerun of one of our shows, just to fill up the spots, so come back and hang out with that. But that's kind of it for our announcements, thank God. So join us as we return to the Aether space and join a group of heroes in their Æther-Shanties. And we're back. Now, for this campaign, we offer up the Random Rhapsody coin to whoever wants to give us a recap of our previous session. If I do the recap, I get the coin, and I kind of don't think anybody wants me to do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I always throw it out there. Hey, does anyone want the coin and want to do the recap?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and step up this week.
Awesome. Well, in that case, Skarn, tell us what happened last time on Æther-Shanties.
Okay, so the thing is that it's, like, super cool, it's great. Like, all right, for one, we're in space. Nobody's been to space before. How many people have the chance to be? I mean, I guess. So we're on this ship thing, I guess. I don't really know if it's a ship or if there's another word for it. And I guess whoever came here on the ship was probably in space. But other than them, we're definitely the first in space. And admittedly, we don't really know what we're doing. And I think some folks are having a bad time. Zolos seemed like he was really, really frustrated and upset by everything going on. But we have a ship thing, and we're in space. And okay, yes, admittedly, we did push a button that opened the sails and is driving us inexorably toward a destination we know nothing about, but we figured out how to use the map. And, yeah, no, it's really cool. I'm not much for machines. That's mostly Dreezy's job. He can, like, tell you how it works. But what I'm really good at is pushing a button and figuring out what happened because of the button pushing. So that's worked out pretty well for us so far. Except, just like a moment ago, a thing on the back wall started pinging, and then something on the wall is getting closer and pinging and closer and pinging, and there's like something off the, I think it was off the port bow, so we probably better go check that out.
Absolutely, you should. Well done. There you go. There's the Random Rhapsody coin. Now, don't forget to use it. It's only lasting this session. Okay. Well, everybody. As mentioned, you are all currently standing on the main deck of the ship. You are all currently trapped aboard, staring out of the main window towards a gigantic, well, thing that is currently flying towards you. So I feel like we need to have some appropriate chase music here. Anyway, the space current that's currently around you, for lack of a better term, is still swirling about your ship, filling the sails with whatever invisible force is propelling you all forward on a collision course with whatever the hell that is. So, you know what? Let's take a pause for a moment and look at exactly what it is you're seeing. Because, dear God, that is bizarre. In essence, what you're all seeing looks like the front half of a humpback whale. If, that is, a humpback whale has been assimilated by the Borg, who, for some strange reason, also decided to graft the lower half of a gigantic octopus in place of its tail, while also adding stabilizer fins and the wings of a Boeing B-52 Stratofortress jet on its sides. It's mind-boggling. The creature, if you can call it that, is nearly just as large as your own vessel is, judging by the silhouette of the thing on the starfield flying all around you. But while your ship seems to be more sailing through this vast ocean of stars, the thing moving towards you seems to be going in this up, down, weavy sort of motion, almost as though it were a salmon fighting against a river's current. It could be almost hypnotic to watch, if it weren't for the fact that the ship's instruments seem to be indicating it's a threat, maybe, or at least it could call for concern the way that light is blinking and pinging the way it is. So with that in mind, as you all gaze out there at this thing, what are you going to do?
Ahoy! There she blows!
About how far away does it look? I mean, now to us?
Getting closer every second. Judging based on, like, speed, you have maybe 5 minutes at most before the thing's right on top of you.
Alright. Well, knowing that everything is just awesome out here, Zolos is gonna be just fine. He's gonna get a cup of tea and he's just gonna chill out. No, he's gonna freak out. And then he's just gonna be like, he's gonna, I guess, he sees all the extra smart people. Well, shit, they're all smart compared to him. Yeah, he's just gonna slap Skarn on the back and be like, "There's 2 big guns up front. Let's go find that. Let's see if we can make those work." And he's just gonna kind of like get up to the front of the ship as quick as he can and see if he can figure out if it's a regular, ballista. Has it got something special about it?
That's probably fair. Okay, so...
Yeah, I'll go up there with them too. Check out these weapons.
Oh, okay, yeah, you'd probably be better at that than I would.
Okay, so it sounds like, Zolos, you are rushing out towards the door to check on those weapons towards the front with Dreezy hot on your tail. What's everyone else doing while the 2 of them are running in this direction? And I want both of you to make for me investigation checks. We're aiming for a 5. But, Dr. Bloom.
I'm trying to figure out how to be useful in this situation because that looks like a terrifying nightmare creature in front of us. Dr. Bloom doesn't exactly know what to do. Should we try to use this throne with the crown and see if we can maneuver the ship better using
I think that's our only move because the wheel is locked. We can't. And we go way faster when someone's wearing the crown, so maybe we can outrun it? I don't know.
Potentially.
We didn't have the sails up before either. I don't know if that would screw up our sails.
I mean, it might help altogether. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. I don't know if this should be a group decision as to whether or not we should put on the crown that brought us here in the first place, or if we should just do something.
That's the only move I've got. I mean, I can play with the map if you want, but that's all we figured out so far.
Lark, what are your thoughts when you hear Dr. Bloom and Skarn talk about the crown again and the throne?
I mean, so far it just keeps taking us away, so it might, do that some more. But, I'm me putting on the crown put us in this mess, so I think maybe I should go try to be helpful about the weapons, maybe, and then, I mean, you guys are smarter, y'all are smarter than me, so maybe the crown will work better for you, because, it just makes my brain not work.
I still your brain not work. I don't think smartness has anything to do with it, but I guess it's worth a shot. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we're, especially given the fact that we don't know anything about this technology. That's
true.
It's gonna be very disconcerting for any of us
So,
to put on the crown.
Is relative. We might know more stuff factually, but that doesn't make us smarter.
No. But if you don't feel comfortable putting on the crown, that's fair.
I just don't want to be the one to screw up again.
It's okay, you got us away from the terrifying things that were chasing us before. That's not a bad thing. We're just in space now. I'm assuming this is
put us off the planet! Off the world!
We're away from the things that... Yeah, it is really cool. Look at how beautiful it is out here, except for the giant thing in front of us.
While this
turn around.
Okay.
As you're saying that, you watch Lark just bolt towards that door, towards the main deck. By this point, Dreezy and Zolos have kind of crouched down and started examining the ballista that are on the deck. There's a pair of them, one on the starboard, one on the port side. There are also two more on top of the cabin ceiling, that right next to the large propulsion engines that started whenever you put the crown on. Those are on either side of that as well, pointed kind of on a swivel that allows to get about 180 of motion on the top. The ones on the forecastle of the ship also are the same thing. They kind of do a swivel of about not quite 360, about like a little less than that, but still gives a pretty good swivel around. You would notice, Dreezy, that for the most part, these ballista are very similar to the ones that you've seen before in the military. Standard is basically just a gigantic freaking crossbow. The one thing you do notice is that there's about like 4 of these long, almost well, they're bolts. You know, the bolts for the ballista. They're long. They're about 3 feet in length. They're tipped with very, very jagged-looking spearheads. It's actually more of an arrow than anything else. It's actually a 4-point broad. However, as you're examining it, you do notice that the cylinder itself, you're expecting it to be wood, is made out of a metal. And you can see that there is carved runes along the side of it. Judging based on it, while you can't really read the runes themselves, chances are this is some type of energy weapon. You load the arrow into the ballista, and it does a much more powerful shot than just your standard stuff you'd find in Loroupa. Much more powerful. Definitely very, very large. You can't really use this to hit a person, but something that big, like the giant whale squid thingy that's coming towards you, yeah, you could easily shoot that and probably do some damage. The one key thing about this is that it's a bit of a challenge to load. You have to crank the you got to crank the bowstring back. There's a winch mechanism that winches it back. Then you have to load the weapon, the arrow, into it. Then you got to aim it. Then you got to fire it. If you have 2 people working together, it's much, much easier than if you were to do it by yourself. If you're doing it by yourself, it would probably take what in our terms would be 2 rounds to load and to fire. 1 round to load and crank it, the next one to aim and fire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, got it.
So yeah, there you go. So what are we doing, everybody?
All right, I'll take the one port side, and I'll start loading up a bolt. Are there more bolts like nearby? Is there some reserve ammunition?
Yeah. Using a quick check, you can see that there's like 4 of these bolted onto the wall of the ship. I'm blanking on what it's called, but anyway, the hull? Yeah, the ledge around the hull. There's like 4 of them bolted right next to it, and then a little ways down, there's 4 more bolted to the wall. That's really it on these sides. You did see more down below in the cargo hold that you probably brought up somewhere a little closer. That you can't just like leave them on the deck of the ship. They'll fly off, that sort of thing. But you probably have some more stored down below that's within somewhat close range. Here, there's the staircase leading downstairs. They're probably down there. So you would
basically have 8 shots on deck.
Yeah, each ballista has 8 shots on deck, and then more reserved down below.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna load one up and sit there and hold it and wait for this thing to come in range.
Okay. Zolos, you're following suit?
Yeah, he'll rush over to the other side and get this one prepped and ready to go. And I guess since he had an 8, Dreezy had the 2, he would just see Lark come running up and just ask. It was like, it's gonna be better if there's 2 of us on each of this. Have granite or feathers, pick one of them and have them come up here.
Okay.
Doc!
Let's turn back to the Doc and Skarn inside the cabin. The 2 of you were discussing the crown. What's the plan?
All right, Doc. Do you feel like having a sit, or shall I?
I feel like we need clear intentions for this, but I also feel strange not having a consensus around it. But also, time is of the essence, so... I mean, the panel for the sort of helm is all glass, so we can see them, futzing with the ballista.
Right. Yes, you absolutely can.
So, I think they probably need help with that, so one of us is staying behind and the other one is going to help.
Well,
do you feel like you would be more helpful? Mm-hmm.
There's a thing that we haven't tried yet, and this might be a bad time for it, but the wheel has been locked ever since we got on this ship. What if someone needs to have the crown on for the wheel to work?
Huh.
So I'm not saying, if it doesn't work, absolutely one of us should go out and help them, but... if we can get some maneuverability here, if we can get around that thing...
Okay. So do you wanna helm the wheel I put on the crown?
If that's how you'd prefer to do it, we'll see how this goes.
I don't have a preference. My preference is for us to be safe, so whatever we need to do for that.
I think Skarn's gonna run to the deck doors and just shout to everybody, "We're gonna try to put on some acceleration. Hold on to something so you don't go flying."
I'm immediately just going to hug the railing. All 4 limbs.
That's fair.
Okay.
Dreezy, Boomy, do you react at all to that as well?
To them putting on the crown?
Well, they just yelled to you, "Hey, hold on, we're about to accelerate."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gripping as tight as I can on this ballista.
That shit be gripping. Okay, first off, I need whoever's putting on the crown to put on the crown. You sit down in that throne, you pick up the crown, you have it parked right above your head, and as you slide it down onto your noggin, I need you to make a check for me. How much magic do you currently possess, ability-wise, Dr. Bloom?
Magic.
Yeah, magical abilities.
Magical abilities. I do have force field and heal, but no other straight up magic.
Okay, so yeah, the force field makes it a little bit interesting. I like it. What I'm going to need from you is you're going to be rolling a d10 for this. However, the DC is still a 2.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Oh. It's a 6.
Okay. Interesting. So here's what happens. Your eyes go white the moment the crown touches your forehead. Your vision just blanks, and the world seems to just freeze for you. While that happens, Skarn, you are positioned right by the wheel, watching this happen. You see Dr. Bloom's eyes roll up in their skull as that little jewel in the center of the crown flares with a bluish light. The crystal in the golden brass orb behind the throne powers as well, illuminating the entire area in its glow as you hear this sound. I need everybody to make some athletics checks, except for Dr. Bloom. This is all of you holding on for dear life as you are accelerated directly towards this whale. Everybody needs to roll a d10 unless you have something that helps you out. Physical strength, that sort of thing would be good for this. The challenge level is just a 5, because you were expecting it. Lark, I feel like you have advantage on this one because of the way you're, like, just latched on. Arms and legs to it, so you get to roll 2 dice for this.
Okay. Do my...
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Would my fast reflexes help with this?
Well, okay, so you can either use your fast reflexes to make this a d8, or you can roll it as a d10, but you can roll 2 dice because of latching on. Like, you can't use your fast reflexes while grappling, but that makes sense.
Okay, makes sense.
So, one or the other.
Two dice.
As a reminder, it's been a few weeks. When Lark used this before, she wasn't able to take the crown off herself, right? Someone else had to do that?
That is correct.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
Okay. Skarn, what did you get?
That would be a 2.
Okay, that's a success. Zolos.
With monkey-like abilities, he got a 1.
1. You are definitely holding yourself in place. Boomy, what did you get?
I got a 5.
5. You just barely managed to keep hold on that spot there. Lark, how about you?
6.
6. That is a failure. You're holding on for dear life, but the force of it just propels you back. You lose yourself, and you start tumbling backwards, flying through the air. You do gain a point of effort back. Don't forget that every time you fail, you do gain a point of effort back. Dr. Bloom, same thing. Since you failed, you did get a point of effort for that previous roll.
Thank you.
Lark, you are just flying now. You have to grab on to something, or you're going to just be shot out into space. This is going to be a reflex check here. Good news is that's definitely going to be able to use your quick reflexes.
Okay.
You're rolling a d8 because you got that. You're aiming for a 6.
Shit. Thank God.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, with that 5, you go flying through the air. You see the cabin rushing towards you. That door that you left open is kind of just flapping there. You reach out and grab with your fingertips, barely managing to latch onto the open door frame and hang there for dear life as the ship just jets forward. You can see now the whale is propelling closer and closer towards your ship as it's rocketing towards it. Skarn, as you're holding on to the wheel for dear life, you've planted your feet down, and you notice to your left the console that has that map there. One of the buttons to the far right side of the console is flashing blue, and it's never done that before.
Is it the same button we pushed earlier that opened the sails?
It is a different one. It's not the big, giant red one. It's a small one to one side on the right-hand side of the console. It's never done anything before. This is the first time you've ever seen it light up.
Okay. And just to confirm, the wheel isn't unlocked now that we've got the crown on, yeah?
It is not.
Okay. That was the big hope, so this is going to be a problem. Let's push a button.
Holding on, you're reaching out to push a button. This is going to be like a control check. Okay, you're holding on to the wheel as those G-forces are propelling. You're reaching out to hit the button. It's not too terribly difficult, though. You're going to be rolling a D10 unless you have something that helps with, like, control.
I don't think so.
Okay.
The only thing I could potentially argue is that the martial arts ability is about controlling your body, but I don't think that'll fly.
That's a bit much of a stretch, I think. You are going to roll a D10, but good news is it's not a huge DC. You're aiming for a 7.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Unfortunately, that would be an 8.
Yeah, you're reaching out, you miss it, you hit a different button completely the first time you're going for it. And you hear something go ka-chunk.
That's not a good sound.
You are able to reach out a second time and push that button. The moment you do, you feel the wheel unlock.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. That means we can stop being on a collision course.
Is that blue button the parking brake?
Maybe. Maybe. But the wheel, it seems to be loose now. You kind of move it back and forth, but there's resistance. There's a lot of G's that's going on there. However, you do seem to have a little bit of control. When you adjust the wheel to the left and to the right, you notice that the fans, the gigantic fans on the sides of the ship, move and adjust a little bit. And then the... you can't really see it, but everyone on the deck itself would see that the back fin the kind of moves up and down as well, showing which allows the ship to kind of adjust a little bit.
Okay, figuring things out under pressure. This is great. We're doing great.
Once that button is pressed, the blue one that you pressed, you now notice that another series of lights have become illuminated. The buttons have become illuminated with lights. This is kind of like red, yellow, green situation. There's like 2 that are green, 2 that are yellow, 2 that are red, just below the blue button that you would press to unlock the wheel. Currently, all of them are illuminated.
Okay. Well, honestly, I don't think Skarn would be thinking about that at this point. If the wheel is unlocked, priority number 1 is not colliding directly into this whale. So.
Okay, yeah, for sure, for sure. Everyone else, you've managed to get keep your footing. You're holding your weapons, the ballistas. That whale thing is coming closer and closer and closer. Skarn, you have moments to react. I want another control check from you. This is a piloting check. You're attempting to pilot this craft, something you've never done before. And I'm pretty sure you've never actually piloted a boat before in your life. So,
I have. Can I, like, try and assist while I'm holding on to the doorway? I can see what they're doing.
I would say that from your position, you are hanging on that door. You can see Skarn there with the wheel, so you could shout out directives and attempt to assist that. So I will allow you to help.
Cool.
Much appreciated.
Okay. Does that mean that they can roll with my D8
So
for piloting?
what it's going to do is not make them roll with a D12, which was what was about to happen.
Okay.
Your expertise is allowing them to roll this with a 10.
Okay.
Okay. What is my target here?
Your target here to completely miss and dodge the ship around this whale is going to be a 4.
Oof.
Failure means that you're going to at least scrape against the side of the thing.
Come on, baby. Dreezy needs to keep on living.
All right, it's time to trade some paint, I guess. That's a 1.
I got it!
Nice.
I'm so stoked.
The whale is coming towards you. As it's getting closer, you can see this thing. It is freakish. And I'm going to actually show it to you how it looks a little bit on this map here. You got your ship, you got its ship. Look at the two of them. Aren't those pretty?
Ours is prettier.
It's a ship? It's another ship?
Well, it's a giant whale with wings and tentacles, and now that you're getting closer, I described it previously like it looks like a Borg had assimilated a giant whale. You can see like material construct on top of this creature. Like it looks like there's a cabin on top of this thing's head, just behind its eyes. There is a strange sort of harness around the upper part of this creature's mouth. And then inside, as you're getting closer and closer and closer, Dreezy and Zolos, you two would be the first to see this. Like through their windows, you can see forms and shapes. They're too indistinct right now to be seen like in great detail, but you can see windows on this construct. Like I said, it looks like a cabin, and there are individuals, beings moving about inside of it. The ship suddenly does like a 90-degree spin just as it passes the whale. The tip of the wing on the like towards the back of the whale just barely misses grazing the ship's maneuver fan on the port side. You like literally flip it up a little bit to go around this thing. And as you're watching, you see these figures like pointing. And then the ship the whale creature ship amalgamation goes zooming past. You all kind of watch this. And Skarn, you're feeling pretty good about yourself because you just jerked that wheel and the ship started arcing. But
I really hope that's not a cop car, because that was a lot of road regulation violations.
But Lark, Dreezy, Zolos, the three of you are kind of watching towards the back, and you see this whale thing, the tentacles on the back, just spread, like almost making it look like the petals of a flower. And the whole creature just lurches and spins and starts coming up behind you all.
Uh-oh.
They must be able to go ludicrous speed as well. See that video I posted on our Discord? It's actually pretty damn perfect. In response to what just happened. I mean, I guess looking back, did we ever notice the two ballistas on top of our ship?
You can see them. They're up there.
Then, I mean, I guess those would be better to be in position. So, yeah, I mean, Zolos is just going to kind of like start scrambling for those. He's got this one loaded, ready to go. But yeah, he's going to bolt for the... I guess, is there a ladder going up on top, or is he going to have to...
Yeah, so here's how you have to get back up there. You have to go back into the cabin. There is a ladder that leads to a hatch that you have to climb up to get onto the poop deck of the ship. And that's where the engines, the propulsion engines, and the two other ballistas are.
Poop deck.
Yeah, that's actually what it's called.
Yeah, that's where he's headed.
Okay. As you rush back in that direction, climbing up the ladder onto the poop deck, you glance back, and Lark, you're able to get your footing by this point. You're used to the G's and are able to pull yourself down. Are you going to go back into the cabin, or are you going to try to remain on the deck?
If you want the wheel, you can have it. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I mean, you did pretty good for not knowing what you're doing.
Only because of your instructions, thank you. I was really hoping that would be enough to get around him, but I guess we gotta go do other stuff. If you want the wheel, I can go join him at the ballistas.
Okay.
Is it? No, now's not the time for terminology. Go.
So, Lark, you go running up towards the wheel. As Skarn relinquishes it and starts climbing, are you climbing up onto the poop deck, or are you going out onto the main deck?
I think probably up to the poop. I don't know if Skarn knows there's ballistas up there, but it does know that Zolos is heading that way, so...
Okay, that's absolutely fair. So you go following after Zolos, and you are able to see that there are two more of the ballista situated on top of the ship. They have less of a swivel because, you know, the engines are there, which are firing, and you can't see like that exhaust trail coming up behind it, this blue foggy like energy that's just blasting off of these ship's engines. This is probably the first chance you've all really gotten to see these things, and they're an interesting piece of mechanical work. Large barrels of metal, mostly brass and steel, pipes and tubes kind of going all over the place, in and out of the thing. You can see a large window towards the top that has more of those bluish crystals just glowing brightly inside of the thing. The engines are loud and kind of obnoxious. And unfortunately, like, the way the ship is, there's no way to turn the ballistas perfectly backwards to fire directly at the whale thing, you'll have to wait until it kind of moves into your line of sight. Because, like, imagine they shoot at an angle is the farthest they can turn before the big bulky engines are there.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So there's that. You don't have a clear direct shot at them. You'll have to wait until they kind of come around to either side to fire at them. Same thing for those on the deck, though. Now, while that's going on, Dreezy, you can see all these things as well. Are you just kind of waiting and you have your weapon ready in case the thing comes close?
Yeah, I'm going to stay on the one that I have. Because if they come around this side, I want to be able to fire right away. I don't have to run back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And then Lark, you are at the wheel. It's very similar to a boat, yet at the same time, it's kind of different, you know. You can see that the console to the side of you is showing the line of or stream of the travel that you're currently on. You can see your dot right there. You can see right behind it there's another fainter dot that's kind of blinking a little bit, pinging. And then towards the back of the cabin, you can see that large circular disc that shows what we're calling a radar system, a magical radar system, pinging that ship as it's now positioned behind you as well. Both of you seem to be going in the same direction, following along with the current, for lack of a better term, that's propelling you. Your engines are pushing you even faster than the sails would normally push you, but this thing seems to be maintaining a fairly good clip and is even catching up a little bit to you all. What do you want to do?
Can we see if there's signs that it's hostile? I mean, besides chasing us, is it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, he wouldn't know what it means if they're like powering up weapons, or if there anybody manning ballistas anywhere on this that he can see.
Make for me a perception check. You're just aiming for a 5. I assume it's going to be a D10.
Yeah. It's 4.
Okay. You're glancing back and you can't see the thing. It's not too far off from your ship at this point. It's very large. And you can see that figures have moved out onto the skin of the creature itself, outside of the cabin. It's difficult to make out their full features. They are definitely bipedal, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. The coloration is difficult to tell in the backdrop of everything else that's going on. However, what you can see is that they're moving towards the bow of the creature, the nose of it. They have what... It's hard to describe what it is. It looks like a long tube with something almost like an arrow stuck in it that they're holding on their shoulders. Definitely looks like a weapon. You can see there's one person on either side of the nose of the creature holding this. Another person's coming up behind them and seems to be anchoring them.
Uh-oh.
And do we know, I mean, these things look like they're the same kind of ballistas that we would have seen on ships of Loroupa.
Well, yours are, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we assume we probably know the ranges of these weapons for those versions of this. I guess we could probably assume that it's the same for the shit we're manning. So I mean, whatever, if he knows what that is, I mean, he would kind of do his best to range it, and as soon as they're within, distance, he's gonna fire.
Okay, you are waiting for that moment, because not only are they have to get in that right sweet spot, which is at an angle. Let's say that you're on the right-hand side of the ship, and so the creature would have to move up to that side for you to get your shot. You would know the range, which they're not quite in range yet, but it's getting close to that point. But unless they specifically move into your range, or your ship moves to get them in range, you don't know how long you're going to be waiting, but you are positioned and waiting the same way Boomy is. If that's all you're wanting to do.
Yeah, Skarn is on the other one up here, right?
Think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, he'd I guess look over his shoulder over at Skarn and just tell him, he goes, when I say to fire, fire.
Wait, well we're pointing in opposite directions though. So they'll have to come up on my side for me to fire.
Exactly. If I just I get it. He's like, but just.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
I've played around in ships and shot these way too often when I wasn't supposed to. I've figured it out by now.
So the ballista that are on top, what is the angle of? Is it wait, is there a measuring tool? There we go. Is it out
I would guess,
this way?
Over here. Or I guess back here if it's this ship. Maybe at least 30 degrees an angle off the back. Oh, you're muted.
So just as long as we don't hit these metal things? Okay.
Yeah, I'd say about a 30-degree angle. That's pretty close, Joe. So that they would have to get to 30 degrees on either side to make that first shot. For Boomy, it would probably be more like 50 degrees before you would get into Boomy's angle.
Okay.
Heard that.
Can I try to move us this way more?
In a way, yes, you can. I imagine you're hearing Zolos and Skarn kind of yell back and forth to each other above you. Okay, wait until they're in that right angle. When I tell you fire, that's what Zolos was yelling at Skarn just a moment ago. So you're hearing that, and you're kind of like, okay, I need to get them in a better position. So you have to start thinking four-dimensionally, kinda, because it's not just you're not on a boat in an ocean. You have a full 360 motion, but you have no clue what's going to happen if you go upside down. But you're thinking this in your mind. Technically, you could. So could you adjust it? Yes. This is going to be a control check for you. Getting in the right angle for that first shot. Because you're a pilot, because you've been piloting boats for a long time, you kind of have a base idea about this, right? Because that's one of your things, piloting boats.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not exactly the same, but it's similar. So, you're going to be making a D8 check because you are proficient with piloting boats. The DC becomes a little bit higher because you're not, this is just a different way of thinking. So to get them in the perfect shot, you have to roll a 4.
Okay. 2.
Nice. You start doing the math in your head and then spinning the wheel. As you do, the ship starts lurching to the right at an angle upwards. As that's happening, Zolos, you're starting to see the ship is just starting to tilt. You're feeling that whole center of gravity starting to move a little bit. You're aiming your weapon. You're waiting for that perfect moment. And you're going to be able to fire your shot basically the same time they see the ship doing this and fire theirs. So, I need you to make an attack with the ballista. What's really cool is I've given you the information. If you all look in your journal right now, you can see the airship. There it is in all of its splendor. And, the thing didn't stay. That's annoying. Anyway, you're going to be rolling to hit the ship. I'm going to say that this is going to be a D10 for you because you are at least somewhat proficient with naval vessels and things like that, and you're also in the military. You don't have any special features, I don't think. So
no, he was just shooting shit off the boat when he was a kid. He's just been doing it.
But you understand the mechanics of it just fine, so you're rolling this as a D8. The number you need to hit the stellar whale, because that's what it is a 5.
Stellar whale.
Stellar whale.
Yeah, it's a 5.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
And then Lark, I'm going to need you to make a what's it called? It is a avoid check using the ship. You do get to roll a D8 because of your piloting ability. However, they have very good aim, and you have to roll a 3.
Can I spend effort to assist on this check by firing illusions at these guys to try and throw their aim off?
I'll allow it. Go ahead and spend those 2 effort to cast your illusion spell and describe for me the illusion you're crafting to distract them.
Yeah, Skarn's illusions have leveled up a little bit. They can now be as big as it is. So I think it's just creating this enormous wave of that same sort of Pagemaster ocean-y rainbow-colored liquid that first appeared when it first manifested. And they just see this wall of multicolored water rushing at them through space.
I like it. I like it. And as you're doing that, Zolos' shot goes off ka-chunk. It goes flying through the air, striking the whale along one of its dorsal fins, carving quite a bit along it as it goes poof. The bolt explodes. So, I kind of sat here and thought for a little bit how I'm going to transition sagas into mech fights, which is basically what we're doing. Ship to ship functions basically the same as person to person. You do 1 or 2 points of damage depending on what you're doing with it. It's just like if that same ship were to fire on you, the person, it would do a lot more damage. But as ship to ship, I'm kind of keeping it relative, if that makes sense. But you have done 1 point of damage to the ship. Now I need that roll to avoid from you, Lark.
Okay. So I'm rolling the D8 and
you're aiming for a 3.
2d8 because of the help.
2d8 because of the help, thank you.
Gotcha. Okay. 2d8. And what's the difficulty?
3.
Wait. 3.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh.
You spin the wheel just in time, and you kind of, the ship lurches a little bit to the right just as a bolt goes flying towards you. It just barely misses your dorsal wing, and you do notice, Zolos, as you're watching, there's a chain attached to the shot that they just fired towards you.
I mean, he'd shout out harpoon. He's like, they're trying to stop us. He's screaming. I mean, normally he'd be making jokes, but he's shouting. He's like, harpoon. Those cannot hit us.
Oh, they are the cops. They're trying to pull us over.
Yikes.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to be kind of doing a roll for initiative here. I would like everybody to roll separately here. Lark, you're going to be controlling the ship, so it's your job to be on your turn. That's when the ship moves.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Everybody else, go ahead and roll for me. Well, I figure out how I'm going to do this.
Do you want us to just roll a d20 for initiative?
No, you're actually rolling to react, so you're rolling a d10, and just the smallest number goes first.
Okay. If it's a roll to react, my fast reflexes, I can roll a d8?
Yep.
Awesome.
Figure out the best way to do this on this sheet here. Okay, Dreezy, what'd you get?
I got a 4.
Ezra.
I wasn't sure actually whether or not I was supposed to roll because I'm essentially not.
Oh, that's
conscious.
right. Sorry, you are not. You're correct. Why am I having you roll? You don't really need to at this point. No, that's
Sadly, no.
That's not true. I'm still gonna do something with you. So go ahead and roll.
Oh no, I don't know how I feel about that.
Lark, what did you get?
A 7.
Skarn, what did you get?
I also got a 7.
All right, I have acid.
Okay, Zolos, what did you get?
A 9.
Oh,
God, I miss blood from a stone.
how did I roll a 1 on that? I'm not even here! Cognitively. What did I do?
Wow, that's impressive.
I rolled that with a hesitant struggle on top of everything else, so I don't know how that happened. Here I was just making notes about what's happening today. This is what my notes look like.
Well, so I had to throw the tokens on there too, just to make things a little easier. But anyway, so Dr. Bloom, while this is going on, you've got, well, at first there's nothing. It's just white, pure white. And there's this odd sort of fuzzy sensation in your brain. You try to focus. You try to do anything. But it's hard. It weighs upon the mind. I'm going to need you to roll a d12 check, and you're aiming for a 3.
Okay.
Oof.
Oop. That's a 5.
That is a 5. Unfortunately, that fuzziness in your brain just seems to be growing and growing. It's hard for you to focus. It's hard for you to concentrate. You have thought. It's kind of like a little grain of consciousness in the back of your brain when you're feeling this. What's going through that kernel of consciousness?
I think this very desperate need to protect their friends. I think, like, the reason why Dr. Bloom, when first exposed to this mysterious power they suddenly had before we got off planet, it's this need to protect. I think that's all that's there right now.
I dig it. With that in mind, the ship is trying to get closer and closer. It's hard to see everything that's going on over there, Zolos and Skarn. You're on the back of the ship. You're trying to watch. There are figures on there that seem to be moving about a little bit, but it's difficult to tell. You can, however, see the ship, those back octopus-like tentacles, start pumping and contracting and pumping and contracting. It is going to move a little bit closer to your group now. It's trying to get in next to you. Or actually, sorry, wrong side. Right there. There we go. As it's starting to, like, your ship started to list to one side, and it's starting to come along and get in line with it. But as it's doing that, it's aligning and getting a little bit closer. Then, as that's happening, you see another one of the individuals with that large tube-like contraption fire towards the ship. Lark, I need you to make another roll to avoid. You're using your D8 still. You're aiming for a 4.
Nope. 7.
That is a 7. Unfortunately, the first harpoon manages to connect, hitting the stern of the ship just below the engine. The whole ship kind of bucks a little bit, and you all would be able to feel that. As next up, Boomy.
Do we take damage from it?
The ship is going to take 1 point of damage, yes.
Okay.
And the harpoon with a chain attached to it is now embedded into the stern of the ship. Boomy, you feel this happen. You are kind of on the opposite side of the ship, where Zolos' side was. The alien ship didn't get close enough for you to fire at it, but as you glance over to the other side of the bow of the ship itself, you do notice that the other crossbow, the one that Zolos had loaded but then abandoned, it is in range. You would be able to fire it. You would have to use your movement to get over to it. but you would be able to fire.
Okay, yeah. I don't see how, but okay.
What's that?
Oh, I just don't see how it could possibly be. Because I was on the port side down here, right?
I imagine you're on the starboard side, on the other side there.
Oh. No, I thought I was down here on the port side.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
in that case, then yes. Now you see that the ship is in range. My apologies.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I was like, what? I have to go the opposite way? Oh, okay.
I was thinking you were
yeah.
on the reverse side of the ship, but no, yeah, you are within range of it now.
Cool.
Yeah. Take a shot. Let's blow him up.
Yeah, you are firing with a D10. You are aiming for a 5. Oh, don't forget, Lark, that with that 7, the failure, you do gain a point of effort back.
That'd be grand if I had used any.
Alas.
But thank you.
Fair enough.
A good reminder.
Boom. 5.
Nice. You're aiming your ballista as that ship starts to list past. You fire. Ka-chunk! It hits the side of the whale creature, exploding. You cause a decent-sized gouge on the side of the creature, doing 1 point of damage. There we go. Next up, we have the 2 more of the figures on the ship itself, on the whale creature. They're moving about a little bit. It looks like they're reloading the tube, firing the harpoons. It looks like 2 of them are reloading on either side. So they're using their turn to do that. Which is a good thing, because after that I got 1 more of those creatures who was holding the original one. So they get to fire again. Lark, I need you to make another check to avoid. This is going to be a D8, and you're still aiming for that 4. Oof, that's going to be an 8. That is a failure. The second harpoon goes flying, impacting into the opposite side of the stern, locking in place. The airship lists once again. You feel the whole ship shudder as this harpoon has been just embedded into the hull of your ship. You see now that the creatures are whooping and their arms are raised up in triumph. And the next turn after that is the last of those creatures out on the outer side of the giant whale. He is grabbing onto that chain and is locking it onto a large hook that is on the side of the metallic compartment cabin that's on top of the whale. So it seems like it's locking it into a winch of some type. It's a giant wheel-like thing. Skarn, you are up next.
Okay. Just to confirm, I do not have an angle to fire, right? I was a little unclear on who was on which side. Sorry, I don't know audio.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you are on the opposite side of Zolos, so you would not have a shot right now. However, you did see that Zolos did make a shot, and their weapon is now currently empty. So, since you don't have a shot, you could move over and reload their weapon for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think I'll spend my turn doing that. I'll play the powder monkey and then just sort of... How good are you at aiming? Could you shoot them off the deck so they're not still shooting us?
I always try. But I mean, that is a bit of a tall order.
They have more guns than we do, so we gotta try something.
Okay. So you move...
Yeah, I think that's me.
Then you're going to move over to Zolos's ballista, grabbing another one of those large bolts, loading it into place. That's going to be your turn. Lark, you're up next. You are in control of the ship, so you can technically move it 2 hexes forward on your turn. If there's anything else you want to describe that you're doing, you're welcome to do so. Lark, you with us?
Sorry, I forgot I was muted.
No worries.
With the second harpoon, if that also did a point of like an HP, then we're down to, the ship is down to 0, so...
No, the ship has 10 hit points.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's not what this sheet says. Okay.
It's a different one.
What the? Like...
I don't know, something got posted, I guess, and it was like, it was just like 2 and 2.
Oh, that's so
forever.
weird. Why did that... Yeah. So I set this as 10 and 10.
Yeah.
I don't know why it shows 2.
That's weird.
Man.
Yeah, it did not save the information I put on it. It's really weird.
Very strange.
Anyway, yeah, you have 10. The ship has 10
that's
health.
weird.
Okay.
Like, it's missing.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's missing a bunch of stuff I put on there. Sorry about that.
No worries.
But when I clicked on the one in the journal, though, it pops up the one with the full info.
Yeah.
One doesn't.
Yeah, I reloaded the page and then I opened it back up and it's got the right stuff.
Let's try that.
That is weird. Yeah, there it is. Now I see it.
There you are.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So you're still good. You're not destroyed. You can either just keep plugging forward. You can try to take evasive actions. Anything you can really think of trying to do, you're welcome to. Unfortunately, like, other than the fact that, like, I imagine Zolos and Skarn have been yelling down at you, and you did feel the hits, you can't see behind you.
Yeah.
So you're kind of limited there.
Okay. But I remember seeing that these are the ones that are shooting the harpoons. They're people who are standing on the outside of their ship, right? So I'm gonna try and pull up.
Oh. Okay.
What?
Okay, I like it. So
I don't know if they've had time to anchor the chains. I don't know because I can't see them. To their ship, but if they're still in the process of doing that, if I yank up, then maybe they'll lose hold of us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely it does.
Okay.
I like it. You're basically trying to bank with the ship. That's what the maneuver's called. It's banking, going upward at a really sharp angle to try to jerk the ship behind you, basically. So I like where your head is. I'm going to say that you are rolling... Well, it's just a piloting check, really. I don't have any other way to describe it. You're rolling a D8. Since you're trying to shake them off, I feel like this is a little bit of a challenging thing, so you're rolling a 4.
Because I've been rolling so well. Actually, I want to spell that differently. There we go. Hey, 2.
Nice. You pull back on the wheel, making the nose of the ship start to angle upwards, jerking hard. On the top of the ship, Zolos and Skarn would be able to see that the ship's starting to go up. The whale creature is kind of stuck below it. One of those chains that was in one of the being's hands, they haven't quite locked it into place yet. I'm going to say that it jerks it out of their hands. And so the harpoon chain is just flapping about in the, well, we'll call it breeze for lack of a better term. While
in the wake?
Yeah, in the wake. Thank you. That's perfect. In the wake of the ship, while the other one did manage to get latched on, so it is still partially connected. But good job. You managed to at least get one of them off. I imagine probably one of the two of them yell this fact down to you. So you did manage to partially succeed.
Yay.
Unfortunately, this action only allows you to move 1 space forward. So you can move 1 hex over if you want to.
I can't move the token.
No, you can't. Okay, then I'll move it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so many things just did not
Nice.
to me today. There you go. Now you should be able to move it. Zolos, you are up next. Skarn is right next to you, loading your ballista. So you can use your full action to crank back the bowstring again and fire.
All right, he will go ahead and do that. And I guess Skarn had pointed out, try and shoot at them. I mean, he's gonna do his best to aim at least in the direction of those people that are on the outside of the ship. Even if he doesn't hit one of them, if he hits close to it, maybe it startles them, knocks them off their feet, gets them off balance, something like that.
Yeah, it's worth a
the
try.
forts explode, so hopefully we can.
I mean, if it does that or it shatters them with like a shrapnel from the ship or something, anything.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to tell you. You're rolling a d10. If you roll a 3, you're going to shoot one of those guys off the whale. If you roll a 4, you at least hit the whale creature, but you don't knock anybody off.
All right.
It's kind of weird now. It's a little bit more difficult of a shot because, like, you're trying to fire downward at an angle with a giant goddamn ballista.
No, it's a 5.
5.
So close.
That's unfortunate. Just the angle is off for you. Thanks to that chain, the whale just kind of shifts at a weird angle, and you fire your crossbow bolt. It goes flying through the space that the whale used to be half a second ago. Yeah.
Well, I do have this coin. Can I use that for someone else's reroll, or does it have to be mine?
No, I'll allow you to, if you want to have him reroll.
Absolutely.
You can.
This seems very important.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. In that case, go ahead and re-roll that, Zolos.
Making us all look bad by actually having a coin. I just want you to know that. I mean, I'm rather offended you went and did that and didn't tell us so we could do it.
No, honestly, this is my fidget toy. I just always have this with me. It's a nice coincidence.
I do have a beaver on a coin from Bucky's in Springfield. I can get that and show that, but all right.
You can show your beaver later.
Trying to be more of an adult this session, and you're making it difficult.
Why would you do that?
Because I mean, with Cog, I get that with Cog, and at least it's a 4.
There you go.
Yes!
There you go. You're it looks like it's about to miss, but then those tentacles just constrict backwards, and the bolt hits one of them, doing 1 point of damage to the ship, taking a chunk out of one of the octopus-like tentacles on the creature.
Sweet.
The creature roars out in pain. You see this weird mouth, like it's the top half of, or the top third of the whale just opens upward in pain. You see these odd, tentacly teeth along the jawline just wiggling in the breeze of the aether space as it's roaring in pain. But they are still locked on to you all.
Mildly conflicted, because it is somewhat reminding him of sea creatures at home, and he didn't like killing those even if they were monsters. So he's just like, oh, he's almost like, oh, that poor baby. He's like, I could make that puppy better, but
Well, we will find out whether or not he can make that puppy better. It's the bottom of the turn order, which I feel like is a great place for us to pause for a little bit so we can go on break. So we'll be back in about 10 minutes, folks, and when we return, we'll find out if our heroes manage to evade this creature that's chasing them. Stay tuned. Howdy everybody, we are back, and when we last left off, our heroes are shooting through space on this aether current, being pursued by a gigantic whale mech squid type thing with wings of a fighter jet. I don't know, but that's what's chasing after them. They've managed to launch and land 2 harpoon hits, one of which is currently locked into place. The other one just went flying off thanks to Lark's careful piloting skills. We are at the top of turn order right now, which is Dr. Bloom. You are still currently locked into place, frozen, with a mind full of bright lights and fuzz. It's painful. It's confusing. You feel like you're pushing your way through fog. Almost. What I need for you to do is make another check. This is your willpower, trying to fight against that light, against that fog. You're trying to feel something in the space and time. You're rolling a d12. You're aiming for a 3. Can you do it?
I know. What we got? It's a 3! Huh. We can't hear you.
Your brain is a whirl with this swirling fog that just spins within your mind. You're focusing, concentrating, drawing within, reaching out towards that glimmer of power that you had felt when you had first come into contact with that crystalline shard back in the barracks, which feels like months ago, but was only a few days, chronologically speaking. You feel this bulb of force surrounding and coalescing your mind. Your fog begins to drift away. Your mind begins to come into focus. And with that clarity of thought, you just feel to yourself, no, I gotta help my friends. I can't be locked the way Lark was. And you just basically shove that ball of force that's protecting your mind. Your perceptions grow outward as your eyes come into focus and you look about for the first time. You are seated on the throne. Lark is ahead of you, holding the wheel of the ship, pulling back on it with all of her might. And you just see the starfield ahead of you, swirling about. But at the same time, you can feel something more. You can feel pain and pressure coming from your back end. You can feel the wind coursing along something more than just your body. You can kind of feel the ship itself about you, this bubble of force moving through this cosmic current. So strong and so forceful that at first it drove away all of your senses. But you can kind of feel outward now. This bubble of magic that just emanates. You can feel in the back of your mind that ship that's there. You can feel a tether, a connecting line between it and you. You realize that the pain you're feeling is the destruction of the ship. You kind of all take this in this moment. And more things begin to come into focus in your mind, but it's a whirl, it's a jumble. It's hard to pull everything together. But in this moment, you do have the clarity of mind to see this. So, how do you react?
My eyes go wide. I see Lark. Little Lark holding onto the steering wheel. And I let out somewhere between a scream and a squawk. and I think the words that come out of Dr. Bloom's mouth are something along the lines of, "What the fuck is happening right now? Lark, what's happening?"
Getting attacked by space pirates?
Space pirates?
I think.
Is that what that is? Okay. What do we do?
I don't know. I'm just trying. I'm just trying to get them to let go because they shot at us, and I think I got one of them to let go.
Okay. I'm trying to get a sense as to whether or not now that I've realized the connection between the crown and the ship itself, what other, I'm trying to ask a specific question, what other intuitive aspect of it do I physically react? Will that impact, if I jerked, having been shocked back into reality, does that impact the movement of the ship as well? Because I can feel the ship. Is it that sort of symbiotic relationship? Is there a physical relationship to it? Or is it just all in my head?
I think right now it's too difficult to tell. This is all too new, and all these sensations are just flooding into your mind into what essentially is 7 seconds. So we're not quite there yet, but on your next turn, we can actually try to parse out a little bit more. But for now, at least you are active, you are awake, you are aware, and Lark knows that you are, which is definitely a step in the right direction. So that's going to be the end of your turn for now. And next up, we come to the whale itself. It is hurting, it is roaring out, and it's reacting angrily. You see the tentacles contract and push as the ship zooms ahead, increasing its speed, coming towards you, almost as though it's attempting to ram. It's not quite there yet, but you know that essentially on its next turn, it's going to be right up on y'all. And it is going to move, trying to keep itself more towards the center of the ship. That way it's away from those ballista shots. Next up is another one of the creatures that are on the ship itself. Their torpedo tube, which is what we're calling it right now, just the harpoon launchers. It was loaded last turn. It is ready to go. Lark, I'm going to need you to make for me what's it called again? It is an avoid check. You're using your D8 because you're a good pilot. You're aiming for a 4. No, sorry. We're going to make that a 5 because it's a little bit more of a challenging shot based on you banking last turn.
Six.
Oof. Yeah, even though with the banking and the weird angle, the creature on the nose of this other creature is able to line up that shot. The harpoon goes flying towards you, embedding into the back of the ship. That is 1 more point of damage to the ship itself.
Woo!
Dreezy, you're up next.
Crazy. All right, I think I have to reload my ballista this turn, right?
You are going to have to reload your ballista this turn.
All right, I hop off of the back and I hurry around and I take one of the bolts off the off the wall and I start positioning it back and reloading the weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. You grab the next bolt, you get it in place, you begin cranking that winch backwards, and you can get that locked into place. So next round, you're going to be able to fire again.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go!
Next up, we've got 2 more of the individuals on the enemy ship. These are the ones who have to load their missile launchers into place, the harpoon launchers. So those 2 are doing that right now. That you can clearly see from your position, Skarn and Zolos. Then the last one, the other launcher guy, the one with the harpoon launcher, his weapon's now reloaded. He gets to fire. I need another dodge roll from you, Lark. Rolling a D8, aiming for a 4.
Yes.
Nice. That is a success with a 1. You twist.
Hell yeah.
You're going to twist to the left, pulling the ship around a little bit. The shot goes wide past your hull, going right underneath it, and you do not take any more damage, which is definitely a good thing. the last astral guy's turn. He's going to come rushing over to that second chain that was fired successfully, grabbing onto that and latching it into place, into the winch. That's his turn completely, but now both chains are locked into place. Skarn, it is your turn.
I really don't think I have a play here except to just keep reloading Zolos's ballista. Since these things take 2 people to fire, like.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So you're going to spend your turn loading Skarn's or loading Zolos's weapon, cranking the winch back to get that the bow ready to fire. Lark, you're up next.
Yeah. So, where on the ship, Matt, would you say that the ballista are stuck right now? Like, down here-ish?
You mean the harpoons in you, in the
Yeah.
boat?
Yeah.
They're on the back, the stern of the ship. They are on the lower. I would say probably one's directly in the center of the back. The other one's more a little bit to the right. But they're both on the stern of the ship itself.
Okay.
So the back end of the ship.
Right. And the propulsion is coming from the back end of the ship.
The propulsion is coming from both the back end of the ship and the sails.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, the... Okay. So then... I'm gonna try to do something weird.
Okay.
I want to try to, like, turn hard and sharply enough that I'm kind of, like, almost whipping my back end. So I want to try and, like, either yank the harpoons out of whatever is holding them, whether it's a person or it's anchored down or whatever. And failing that, just kind of like yank the ship kind of out of whack and out of alignment.
Yeah. So
I kind of just want to...
I get where you're going here. So basically what you're doing is a hard deport. You're hitting the wheel and spinning it as hard as you can so that the rudders all go upward and spin the ship, basically making it bank backwards. This is going to be a difficult maneuver. You know this is a difficult maneuver because you are an experienced sailor. You know how to pilot a boat. You definitely know how to pull off this maneuver, but you also know the fact that there's a lot
no water resistance, though, so that's nice.
There is no water resistance. That's absolutely true. But there is still danger of further damaging your ship.
Yeah.
Because if even a perfect yank isn't going to just pop out the harpoons. It's going to kind of jerk them and pull a little bit. The damage could be minimal. It could be a little bit more severe, but probably better off than having them hooked on. So you know these things. You know that that it is possible you could not seriously damage, but significantly damage. But you could also minorly damage the ship if you do it right, or if you do it perfectly, there's going to be no damage at all. Okay? So do you want to do this maneuver, knowing that you could potentially damage the ship?
Doc, should I do something crazy?
When has that stopped you before?
I say, do it. Mess them up.
What choice do we have? Let's go.
Okay, what am I putting as difficulty, Matthew?
Okay, so if you roll a nat 1 or a nat 2, no damage to the ship. If you roll a 3 or a 4, minor damage to the ship. If you roll anything lower than a 5, serious damage to the ship.
Okay. I'm scared.
Incredible.
Incredible. You yell, "Everyone hold on!" and then just grab the wheel and spin it for all you're worth, waiting for that perfect moment just as the enemy ship starts moving a little bit to the starboard side. You spin the ship, the butt end just twists as the other ship starts to move in the opposite direction so hard that the entire ship starts to spin with the massive amount of G-force. I'm going to need Skarn and Zolos and Dreezy to all make athletics checks to hold on for your life.
It ain't nothing but a G thing.
These are D10 rolls. You are aiming for a 5.
Would his wrestling traits of gripping things and holding on help him in this situation? I mean, it has, I guess, for when they engage.
That's a 5.
The hyperdrive.
Yeah, I've allowed you to use that before, I feel like, so go for it. You can. This will be a D8 for you.
Watch, I'll still fail it, and I'm gonna go flying off the ship. Gosh, thank you, Jesus.
2 5s and a 3. All 3 of you are holding on for dear life as the ship basically corkscrews, yanking so hard that the two harpoons just pop off of their affixed points on the hull. Both of these harpoons go flying backwards, striking into the creature itself that just rocketed forward. Basically, it moves so fast that because your ship is turning like this, the whale overshoots and goes flying forward. I'm gonna move both of these just to make a little bit more sense on the map here. But yeah, so because of the ship banking the way it does, the G-force, just the pressure of the current of the space around you is enough of a resistance that whale just torpedoed ahead of you. So y'all saw that. Zolos, you're up next.
I mean, it looks like, I guess now I'm going to be on the opposite side, my turn, because I think we were on this back left side.
So yes,
for the one I was on. So, but the other one actually wasn't it loaded?
Well,
Skarn just never had it.
They're both loaded right now.
But the one I was on doesn't have a shot.
No,
probably.
it does. because
Oh,
it
okay.
does
I guess they
have
can swivel
motion.
around,
It can
yeah.
swivel around. It just can't go
just-
all the way pointing
Yeah.
backwards. So yes, you do have a shot here.
Yeah.
So yes, you do have a shot here.
No, yeah, then we're just gonna go for it.
Shoot your shot, buddy. Because of the angle and the fact that you're now behind him, the difficulty is a little bit less. You're aiming for a 5.
Ooh, sweet. Come on. There's that. That's a 3.
Nice. With a 3, you swivel your ballista around quickly, aiming up. You fire. Your bolt goes ka-chunk, right into one of the tentacles of the back octopus of the creature. The bolt explodes in such a way that part of the tentacle blasts off completely and goes flying back towards you and shoots past the ship.
Perfect.
That's going to be it for your turn. We're at the top of turn order once again with Dr. Bloom. You are conscious. You just saw the entire ship bank. Fortunately, you're sitting in a chair in the cabin, so you didn't experience the same issues that your friends had. You just kind of had to grip the armrests a little bit and hold on in place, kind of like Captain Kirk. But it's your turn, so what do you want to do?
I don't know what to do. Lark, what should I do? What should I do? I don't know what I'm doing. How can I help?
Maybe if we can get behind them, it'll be better. Help me straighten this thing out.
Can I think that? Will that help if I think that?
So this is what I want you to do. You're still kind of trying to pace this out a little bit, trying to figure out what exactly you can do now that you have a clear mind and this crown on your noggin here. Give me a... this is just an attempt to control what's going on, the circumstances here. You're just using your concentration. This is magically focused, so if you have anything that gives you advantage or let you roll a better dice with the magical control, you can make that argument now. Otherwise, you're just rolling a d10. You're aiming. Your best bet is a 3. But a 3, a 4, and a 5 all give you something.
Okay. All right. I gotta roll this. It's a 2.
Nice.
It's a 2.
You
Hell
clutch,
yeah.
you clutch the crown, focusing your mind, trying to understand the situation and what you can do. You're starting to get a little bit of clarity. The ship, it's kind of using you as a battery in a way. Connection to the ship activates the propulsion control within the engines. You kind of look to Lark's left at the navigation control, and you see the lines of colors, red to yellow to green. They're all lit up right now. You realize that's your speed control right there for the engines. They're on full throttle right now, Control of that would allow you to get more back and around the ship. If you slow down a little bit, allow the ship to kind of re-level itself, and then speed up again, you'd be able to get behind them much more effectively. And the control is right there, but you kind of control that a little bit.
Huh.
It's your will that allows the engines to function.
Can I do it now?
You can. So what this is going to do is on Lark's turn, this is going to assist her and allow her to roll a second dice to control the ship.
It's so cool.
So that's it for your turn. The ship is, the enemy ship is kind of rocketing forward now. It seems like they're trying to turn, but they don't have nearly the same kind of control that you just did, Lark. So they're going to be moving forward a little bit and up by 1 to right about there. Yeah, didn't get, there we go. The enemies on the ship, you can see them now moving. The one with the harpoon, who still had a harpoon launcher loaded, they are going to attempt to fire. However, it's a really bad shot, because they have to basically turn and fire over the whale and over the squid tentacles to hit your ship. So Lark, I'm going to need you to make another roll to avoid. You're rolling your D8 still, and as long as you don't roll a 7 or an 8, you're going to dodge. So you need to roll a 6 or lower.
Okay. Ah! What just happened? Oh, did I hit cancel instead of submit? My bad.
Oh no.
Don't you hate it when that
That's the
happens?
worst.
Okay, the 8. Whew!
Whew. Just barely.
Ugh.
The shot goes wide, barely missing. It was very, very close, but you're able to get, maneuver the ship, and you are not hit. Boomy, you're up next, and you have a perfect shot if you swivel that ballista around.
Oh, you know it. I'm swiveling.
Okay, you're making a D10 roll. You are aiming for a 6.
Boom! Crit 1, baby!
Crit 1.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, that is 2 points of damage as you aim just right. You're like, I love these missiles. They explode. Ka-chunk! Boom! Exploding off 2 more tentacles with your shot. The whale roars in pain. It is taking quite a bit of damage right now.
Come on, everybody, let's bring this thing down!
2 of the individuals on the enemy ships up next, 3 of them, 4 of them, technically. And all 4 of them are just kind of moving around now. The ship is lurching about. All of them are trying to hold on. I'm going to roll here real quick to see whether or not they can manage to stay on. I'm just going to roll simple D10s. And they need to all roll a 5 to stay on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 3 fail. Or 2 fail, sorry. 3 succeed, 2 fail. As the ship is bucking and shaking from that last explosion from Dreezy, you see 2 bodies just lose their grip and get ejected out into the current that you are all flying in and just start floating there.
Okay. I mean, I know I was talking about it earlier, but I don't feel great about that, but also that's good for us, so let's just push that aside for the moment.
Skarn, it is your turn.
So just to be clear, if I recall correctly, Zolos and I were up here on the upper, or the
On the poop deck, yes.
The back part of the starboard of the ship. But both of the things on this side were loaded. Dreezy just fired this one down here on the port front side, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one at aft port should still be loaded.
Yeah, the other one up top should still have.
It is still loaded.
A missile ready to go.
Okay, then I think I'm just gonna book it there and try to fire that thing because we need to put as much damage on this as we can right now.
Okay. For the angle of this, you are aiming for a 5 with that D10.
Alrighty. Nope. Oh my.
Nope. Unfortunately, you run over to the other ballista, turn it, and fire quickly. Unfortunately, you didn't have the greatest aim on the creature, and your shot goes wide.
Unfortunate. Sorry.
Lark, you're up next. You are in control of the ship. The whale creature seems to be losing propulsion, and you are within the next 6 or 7 seconds, you're going to overtake them or overshoot them.
Yeah, I'm going to slow us down and steer us so that we can try and get behind them.
Okay, you can absolutely get behind them. This is not going to be a challenge at this point because they are slowing down and they're right ahead. So you're just going to kind of maneuver the ship to be right behind them. What's your plan here? Because it looks like the ship is, like I said, it's beginning to lose propulsion. So by the time we get around to your next turn, chances are the ship is going to overshoot it unless you reduce speed dramatically. Are you trying to reduce speed dramatically to stay behind them completely? Or are you trying to get past them?
I think I'm going to have us still stay kind of to the side of it, but I'm going to have us straighten out so that way all the folks still have shots at it, try and get it dead in the water so that we can keep going on our way without having to worry about them.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're maneuvering the ship to get it straight once again. It doesn't take a lot to do that. You're just spinning the wheel, while at the same time reaching out to slow it down a little bit enough to get yourself back in that straight position once again. So that's what you're doing there on your turn. bottom of the order is Zolos.
I mean, I guess best I can do is just load my ballista.
Mm-hmm.
Since every one of them seems to have been kind of fired right now, we need to get things going.
Yeah, I think technically the one across... No, actually, no.
No,
yeah.
That's the one Skarn just fired, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're all fired. You're absolutely right. So you will have to reload your crossbow.
Yep, that's what he's going to do.
Okay. We're at the top of the turn order again with Dr. Bloom. You're understanding how propulsion works a little bit. You understand now that you have to... Somebody has to be connected to have those engines going. What are you thinking about right now? You're seeing that you're kind of behind and a little bit to the side of the ship. The enemy ship is starting to get closer and closer because you're going a lot faster than it is, though you have slowed down a little bit. What do you want to do in this instance? Are you wanting to try to focus more inwardly on the magic associated? Are you focused more on getting yourselves free and clear and safe? What's going through your mind?
Just given all that's happening and what Lark's trying to do, I'm probably going to be trying to assist in slowing down the ship so we definitely don't overtake it. So if during Lark's turn she was only able to slow it down a little, I'm going to help that so that way we're not at a full stop, obviously, but we're at a point where we have more like finite control over it and we're moving much more slowly. I think I'm just going to concentrate on what the pilot wants.
Okay, so then I think what you're going to be doing is making another magical control check here.
Sorry?
What's that?
Sorry, I thought I heard a different voice.
I thought I heard Alyssa too.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, weird.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No worries. Anyway, go ahead, Bloom. You're rolling a d10. You are aiming for a 4.
Okay. Aiming for a 4. Let's see. It's a 7. Boo.
Yeah, you're trying to concentrate and feel more of the connection between yourself and the ship through that crown, but it's difficult. It's choppy. It's while magic certainly does exist in Loroupa, it's never really been a huge specialty of yours, and so that connection is just slipping away. It's like your fingertips are just grasping at the edge of it, but you just can't cross that, and it's frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The ship is going to attempt to break away, basically. You can see the people on the ship now. They're starting to run towards the cabin itself. A couple of them have made it inside. A couple more are going towards the back of the ship. It's hard to tell exactly what it is they're doing on this creature, but they're moving along in that direction, or at least they're attempting to. The ship starts trying to accelerate once again. You can see the remaining tentacles begin to pump and undulate a little bit to try to increase its speed. It's maintaining it manages to equalize itself with your speed, but it's having a hard time going beyond that. So you're still overtaking it. I'm going to move it back just a little bit by 1. one of the individuals that are still on top of the creature, they manage to make it all the way back into the cabin itself. Boomy, it's your turn.
All right. You know, I say we board the dogs. I'm gonna. Is there any rope about on the deck?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's rope on the deck.
There you go.
I want to find like a rope and a what do you call it?
Grappling hook?
Grappling hook. Yep, that's it. Is there a rope and a hook or some sort of anchor? Something that I could make like a grappling hook?
Well, there are. You do have hooks.
I was gonna say,
yeah, you absolutely.
but there's also these things called harpoons. Could just do the same thing they tried to do to us.
Even better. That's right. Well, Okay, so I'm gonna tie a rope to the harpoon, or to the bolt, right? To do the harpoon thing. But then I also want to just grab... Sorry. Just, one of the... one of the grappling hooks, like, not attached to a rope. And my idea is, once the rope's attached, I'll slide down it with the, by holding on to that.
Okay, so you're gonna...
So this round, I'm just attaching the rope and reloading the ballista.
Got it, okay. So yeah, you can grab a rope, you can tie it onto one of those ballista bolts and get that secured into place, load it into the ballista, and crank back the crank so that in your next turn you can fire.
Alright.
That's it for your turn. Next up, we got four of the individuals that are on top of the creature itself. A couple of them, like I described, are moving towards the cabin. A couple more are moving backwards towards the tentacles. They're using their full turn to enact something. It's difficult to tell exactly what they're doing, but we'll find out next turn maybe. Skarn, you're up next.
I think Skarn is just going to be up here and reload this ballista that it just fired that it missed with, and then sort of step back, indicate to Zolos if he wants to do it, since clearly Skarn doesn't know how to fire this thing. And then just sort of shout over to Boomy. You know we don't have brakes on this thing, right? If you go over there, we can't get you back.
Let me worry about that.
Your call.
It looks like they got some nice shit on that ship, and I'm getting it.
Okay. Next up, we got Lark in control of the ship. You have slowed down and are now maintaining a pace with the ship. You're still kind of behind it. What's the plan? Are you going to try to overshoot it to give your friends a better shot? Or are you going to try to do something else?
I mean, it seems like there's a lot more of them than there are of us. Should we just run away?
You can see that the ship is pretty damaged. Several tentacles have been blown off. There's this purple blackish fluid leaking out the back of the thing as well. So, like, the ship is damaged.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna start accelerating, I guess.
Okay. So you reach out and increase the acceleration on the ship. The ship begins to push forward. We're going to move it up 2 spaces, aligning just off of the starboard side of the ship, and aligning it to a point that everyone's going to have a very good shot as the ship passes. Zolos, you're next.
Hey, Zolos loaded his last time, so he's just going to go ahead and fire on it.
Okay, fire on the ship. Both ballistas are loaded now, so you can use either or.
It's a 2.
That is a 2. Your bolt hits the side of the ship. The whale roars in pain again, lists to one side. You can see more of that purplish ichor fluid flowing out from the creature. It is definitely losing speed.
Yeah.
The entire area, you hear just this weird roar come off of it. It's like an unhollow sound. Like it kind of rattles you all a little bit. Dr. Bloom, you're up next.
Doc, should we be feeling bad that that's a living creature?
I think all the ships are living creatures, actually. Our ship's a living creature.
This?
Yeah, I can still feel the back end of it, so can confirm. I mean, they're pretty damaged. Do we want? How much certainty do we need in terms of this ship being destroyed?
Or at least just dead in the water.
Are we worried about it chasing after us? What do we want to do, folks?
I mean, they attacked us first. I think we have every right to kill them all and then see what's on their ship.
I should point out Zolos fired first.
Oh, whoops. We're the pirates. Even better. Kill them all, take their shit.
None of that. They were preparing to fire with those, so they were getting ready. But he did take the first shot.
Well, they certainly didn't. They certainly didn't say "ahoy there." How you doing? Oh.
Yep.
Is there a means of communicating with them?
Yeah, we shoot them.
No, but I mean, like, we can talk to each other through the ship. Is there a way that our ship can talk to their ship?
Good luck.
Anything's possible.
Tube that goes over there.
Well, the dock is connected, so.
Yeah, I can feel the ship.
Find their frequency.
Yeah, can we hail each other?
Well, let's see if Dr. Bloom can figure it out through this connection they have through the crown. This is going to be a magical control check again. You're trying to focus on through that connection with the crown. So D10, you're aiming for a 4.
Okay, here's to hail. It's a 1.
Wow. You begin concentrating, reaching out, looking for that connection. You notice to your right that console that has a gigantic orb on in the center of it, just positioned on top. It looks like a well, it looks like a crystal ball, something for scrying or for communicating. You sense through the crown that that device there is a means of communication. It's hard to describe, to put into words, but knowing the correct frequency using the device acts as a communication. If you have their phone number, for lack of better term, you could reach out and call them. Not exactly, but you get my meaning. someone would have to go over there and attempt to use it and try to find a frequency that matches theirs if they have something similar to this. You could possibly communicate with them.
Or you could just go to the side of the ship and say, "Hey, girl, let me get your number."
You could do it the old-fashioned way. This is true.
Just mosey up to the bar and say, "Hey, girl, let me holler at you."
That's right.
Okay.
Ain't no holler back, girl. Ain't no...
But you know without a shadow of a doubt, that's what that machine does.
Okay.
Next up
Well, we're figuring stuff out.
Next up is the whale itself, the giant space creature. And what they are doing is they're banking away. They are injured. They have lost several of their tentacles. They're banking away. They're going to use their full movement to move backwards in this direction because they're slowing down and peeling off. We also have Anesthetic in chat. She is giving her inspiration to Lark. So, Lark, you have a point of inspiration to use on your next roll.
Thanks,
Nice.
Matt.
Next up, we have, well, one of the individuals, the one who made it into the cabin itself. Not quite sure what's going on with that. Just the space kind of goes by. Boomy, you're up next. You have your rope tied to a ballista bolt.
Yep.
The ship is you got a nice clear shot at it, so you're still going to be rolling a 5.
Okay, I'm shooting at him.
Okay.
Ooh, a 6.
Oh. You fire the shot. The bolt goes pulling along the rope behind it. Your bolt goes right over the whale's head as it's slowing down, and you just have a bolt on a rope, just kind of being drugged behind.
Yep.
Exactly.
Who's got the soundboard?
That's me.
But that's going to be it for your turn. Next up, we've got the individuals, the creatures that are on top of the whale, moving about it almost like lice or ants. They seem to be moving towards the tentacles themselves, and seem to be attempting to staunch or maybe cauterize the wound that you've inflicted. Like, you're seeing flares of reddish light, almost like fire, starting to go off towards that back area around the tentacles. Skarn, you're up next. There is still a loaded crossbow or ballista next to you. You could use it.
There is. I don't think Skarn is super cool with shooting these people down right now, because we've already done a lot of damage to them. They were already trying to run. So I don't think it's going to be okay with that. So I think instead it's just going to run back to the cabin and just... That's been some excellent flying, but they're injured. Can you just turn around and get us out of here? You can steer this thing now. You can take us home.
Oh, heck
Dr.
yes.
Boone. Great job. I didn't... Yeah, you're awake. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. See that big orb over there? The thing, one of the many things on the ship that we've been trying to figure out.
Right,
Does it look like anything has been trying to contact us? Anything show up on that orb? Just a thought.
Well, just glancing over it, like, you haven't had time to go over it and properly inspect it, but at a glance, you haven't noticed any changes in it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the device itself hasn't done anything during this entire exchange. I can tell you that much.
Okay. Thank you.
So Skarn climbs down the ladder into the cabin, tells everyone, hey, let's leave these people alone now. They're injured. Lark.
And at the very least, they can't keep up with us if we run.
Yeah.
This is fair. And Lark,
Yep.
It is your turn. You're currently at full throttle. The ship is moving well past the whale at this point, unless you were to slow down or attempt to turn around.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get us home.
Over the old bootlegger turn.
Yeah. Put on the parking brake, do a quick Yui, take off the parking brake, away we go. Because that's how that works in movies, right? Definitely how physics work.
That's
I mean,
definitely...
that is a real thing you can do if you're really good at driving, but you have to be really good at it.
Yeah, so you are going to attempt to turn around to go back home.
Yeah.
This is going to involve spinning the wheel, and, like, if you're not attempting to make are you trying to make a sharp, like, 180 in a boat?
No, not necessarily. I feel like that could go badly.
Oh yeah, as somebody
I don't
who's
want to
familiar,
capsize us.
as somebody who's familiar with piloting a boat, you would know for sure that trying to do a 180 would destroy the whole thing. You're going very fast, faster than any boat you've ever been on, but even going at like a good clip in a boat, you have to make a very large, wide U-turn to go in the opposite direction. But you would also know that, you know, if you're on a boat in an ocean, there's wind, and the wind is pushing you forward. As you start to turn, the sails start to turn too, or they need to start to turn, or they need to be pulled up completely to go backwards.
If the wind is in our sails, we need to raise the masts.
Correct. So you can start this process on your turn of trying to make a large, wide U-turn. This is going to take you around that ship completely if you're able to do it. However, the sails being down right now is a very large problem.
Okay. Do we remember what brought the sails down other than me putting on the crown?
A button.
Do we remember which button?
You guys have pushed so many of them. It was Boomy.
Boomy is the one who pushed it, and he is not in here right now.
Mm-hmm.
True, but I was with him when he
I was
did.
gonna say Skarn was there.
Does Skarn remember what button?
I think it was biggest one, the red one that just started blinking all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, the big red one.
Does that feel right? As the character that has the crown on the head? Does that feel right?
Well, that's it's not their turn right now. It's Lark's turn, and Lark has 7 seconds to do something on
Skarn,
this
which
turn.
button to raise the sails?
Oh
no.
So I guess my question for you here, for Skarn, this would have been like yesterday. For me, it's been 2 weeks, maybe a month. I don't remember when we pushed this button. Would they remember it better than I do? Because
your friends were right. It was the big red button.
okay, cool.
Like they weren't leading you astray. So So here's my question, Lark. Like you can call this out, and Skarn can tell you this information. Are you choosing to turn? Are you choosing to raise the sails? You can't really do both right now.
I'm gonna raise the sails first. There's no point in ruining the ship.
Okay.
We need it to take us home.
Okay.
So I'm gonna press the big red button.
You reach out and press the big red button once again. You hear a kink, kink, kink sound. You watch as winches begin to drop, levers, weights begin to drop down, ropes begin to pull upward. The sails begin to slowly roll and roll and roll. And as that's happening, the ship begins to buck and shake. I need everybody who's on the deck right now, that is Boomy and that is Zolos, to make me athletics checks to hold on.
Okay.
Sorry.
Still a 5, I guess.
This is going to be 4s for the two of you. Sorry.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh. Oh, but trees.
I rolled a 9.
Luckily,
rolled-
he's on the deck, and I got the 4.
Dreezy, you jerk forward and go tumbling into the air. You hit a railing. Boom! You're going to take 1 point of damage. You barely managed to grab on the railing as the entire ship rapidly decelerates. With sails going upward, the starscape around you, that swirl of color, just stops. And the lights that were long streaks just slow into pinpricks once again as everyone just kind of stumbles forward a little bit. Dreezy, you are hanging on for dear life over the edge of the ship. And I think that's an excellent place to end things for this evening.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I suggested things that got people sent flying twice this session.
Okay. I almost blew everybody up before.
You did blow some of us up.
That's true. That did happen. But hey, you survived your first encounter with other extraterrestrial beings. Well done, everybody. You just leveled up to 3.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
What does that mean? That means a few things. The first thing it means is that you all get to add 1 point to either your health or your effort. One or the other. You then get 2 new ranks that you can spend in your talents. So you can either add a new talent, or you can add a rank into one of them that you currently have. You cannot have a rank higher than your level, so you can have up to 3 ranks in any one skill or ability. But that's about it.
Cool.
So
Heck yeah.
So 1 point in your stats and 1 point and 2 points in your talents. And so that's where we're leaving all of our heroes. Well, you haven't completely come to a halt because the engines are still going, but you're now going a shit ton slower than you were 10 seconds ago. The ship that you are fighting has overshot you by like a week and a half because they were still going at top speed, and you all have just slowed down to a crawl. So now all you can see is just the twinkling lights of stars all around you as the engines slowly push your ship forward. And Dreezy, as you know, hanging over the edge. Okay, well, as our heroes are leveling up, let's have us all go around the table and have everyone tell us who they are and where we can find them on the internet. And nobody, since you're the one who did the recap, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Absolutely. I am Nobody. I've been playing Skarn today. I can be found online on Twitter and Blue Sky at Nobody Adams. That's Adams with 2 Ds. I'm also on co-host at Nobody. I got in early and got a good username on that one. I am on 2 weekly podcasts. Us Weirdos Have to Stick Together, which is about queer representation in cartoons, and also The Axe Files, which is a 9 chapters a week reread of every Animorphs book in order. There's so many of them.
Nice.
We've been going for 2 years, and we're almost a quarter of the way done.
Amazing. Alyssa, why don't you go next?
Hi there. On the internet in most places, I go by Serenity in Leet, spelled in Leet speak. And except for on Instagram, where you can find my nerdy crochet works at Alyssa Crochets. Hit me up if you want me to make a thing, preferably not a doll with hair.
Love it. Coins, you're next.
Yo, I'm Coins. Play Dreezy F Boomy in this game, and if you want to find me on the internet, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, all of it is at Devil Fetish.
Right on. Nico, you're next.
Hi, everybody. I play Dr. Bloom, and you can find me on the internet at Static Blue Stray.
Joe, you're up next.
Well, I am Joe. I was Zolos with the, amazing accuracy this week. I was rolled pretty damn good this one.
For sure.
Typically on Wednesdays, unfortunately not this Wednesday, I am Corwin Oliver Goodwood during our Curse of Strahd campaign, The Son of the Blood. We're in a very interesting spot right now. We just made a tentative alliance with Lady Wachter, and we're about to go to war with, the big Ezek Straz.
Yeah, Ezek. Ezek.
Guy with the big ass red weird creepy devil arm. So that's fun. And of course, once again, Natalie or, Danica put my character in a very difficult spot. They love doing that. You guys, both these campaigns, you people are putting me on edge. I guess it's my fault. I fucked with everybody, and now you're doing it back. But you can find me on X or Twitter, Blood from a Stone. Just being goofy.
Well, as always, I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and game master here on the Random Rhapsody Network. You can find me on the tweets and the instas is at Scruffy Wanderer. I'm also on Blue Sky and everywhere else is that. You can also follow us as Random Rhapsody pretty much a lot of places. Yeah, random_Rhapsody on the Twitch. On Twitter is at random_Rhapsody. On Twitch, we are Random Rhapsody, of course. On Blue Sky, we're at Random Rhapsody. On TikTok, we're at Random Rhapsody_TV. You can follow us all in these places, and yeah, just keep hanging out and having fun with us. So, on behalf of everyone here in the Æther-Shanties crew and everyone with Random Rhapsody, I just want to say, thank you, folks. It's been a delight. So long. Good luck. And until next time, may the winds of Æther ever fill your sails. And good night.
Good night.
Bye.